And we can hear.
I don't got no date right now, but I know that's the next fight that.
The highly anticipated rematch between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. has become one of the most talked about events in boxing, especially after their first encounter in 2023. In that bout, Crawford delivered a dominant performance, stopping Spence in the 9th round to claim the undisputed welterweight championship. The one-sided victory left fans and pundits alike wondering, what's next for these two fighters? Over a year has passed since their initial clash, but the prospect of a rematch is more enticing than ever, with the possibility of the fight taking place in a higher weight class. Tensions flared even further when the two came face-to-face recently, almost coming to blows, with Spence making it clear that he's coming for redemption and revenge. The stage is set for a showdown that could reignite the sport's biggest rivalry.
Thing yet, and like I said before, it's in the contract, so it's not if I'm open to it or not. It's what's in the contract, and Errol gave me an opportunity and a shot at becoming the first male boxer, undisputed, in any division in the 4-belt era, and I honor, that. And if he was to come to me or activate his...
The first fight lived up to all the hype and more, with fans getting exactly what they hoped for, and then some. Terence Crawford, entering as the underdog, proved why he's regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Errol Spence, known for his toughness and determination, simply had no answers for Crawford's speed and versatility. It was a one-sided performance, with Crawford not only solidifying his status as the best welterweight on the planet, but also cementing his place among the greatest fighters of his era. In the aftermath, a rematch was always a strong possibility, particularly with Spence's refusal to accept the outcome and his unwavering belief that he could turn things around in a second encounter.
You gonna knock my first?
Because I don't want us personally, we talking about what we want to see. I don't want to see it. Because I know what it's going to look like. The same as it looked last time.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Errol Spence wasn't the same.
What was wrong with him?
He looked slow, he looked he looked sluggish.
Why?
I can't tell you, I wasn't in camp.
At the division, he dominated for his entire career. All of a sudden, when it came time for this fight, he looked different. Why?
I wasn't in camp with him, I can't tell you. I don't know if his body finally broke down for being at 147.
The defeat was tough for Errol Spence to process. He entered the first fight as a favorite, having dominated the welterweight division for years. Despite being in peak physical condition and possessing tremendous power, Spence simply couldn't find a way to cope with Crawford's skill set. Many speculated that Spence's injuries leading up to the fight played a role, with reports suggesting a torn retina and the lingering effects of a 2019 car accident. While these issues didn't stop him from stepping into the ring, the impact they had on his performance was clear. Spence has since asserted that he wasn't at his best during the first bout, and that he's made the necessary adjustments to ensure he's fully prepared for the rematch.
I don't want to see. I want to see Bud be great, but what better buffer to see if Bud's ready at 68 than the EJ rematch of 54 and 60? And how exciting would it be to watch Errol Spence he walks at 190. I'm 185 pounds right now. I'm 5'11". To think of me cutting...
Fast forward to 2025, and the rematch is just around the corner. But this time, there's a significant twist. Terence Crawford, having bulked up in preparation for a potential fight against Canelo Alvarez, is now eyeing a move up in weight. This shift adds a new layer to the rematch, as it could take place in the junior middleweight division. Crawford's decision to step up isn't entirely surprising. He's always been disciplined in managing his weight, and at 35, he's ready to test his body in a new weight class. Facing Spence at 154 pounds, or possibly another weight, could completely alter the dynamics of the fight. For Spence, who's naturally bigger and more comfortable at this weight, it could provide him an advantage. However, it also opens the door for a new, potentially more dangerous version of Crawford, one with added power and greater experience against larger opponents. The rematch now promises to be even more intriguing than before.
Concessions to have to get this fight done. He gave up a lot of money on his side to have this fight at 147. If you look at the contract, this is a sport of contracts. Chris, you know this. You have signed contracts. You have tried to get out of contracts. The winner gets to dictate the weight. The loser got to put the rematch clause or put the rematch.
One of the most captivating aspects of the rematch is the renewed confidence in both fighters. Errol Spence, known for his relentless style, has openly admitted that he wasn't fully prepared for the challenges Crawford presented in their first fight. Now, he's made it clear that he's been working tirelessly to refine his technique, improve his conditioning, and develop a more focused game plan to avoid the mistakes he made last time.
I feel as if, he would go back to the drawing board. He would come back stronger. He'll come back more hungrier, and he'll try to fix the things that, he needed to fix to make the fight look different in the second time than in the first time. I do believe that, but that's the only thing that I can actually say.
Spence knows he has the power to hurt anyone in the division, but he also acknowledges that Crawford's boxing IQ is on a different level. To stand a chance in the rematch, Spence is concentrating on tightening up his defense and ensuring he can handle Crawford's precise counterpunching. His confidence is at an all-time high, and he's fully convinced that if he sticks to his game plan, he can overcome Crawford in their next encounter.
I'm excited for this, man.
It gives him a chance to heal up. Yo, in a hill, Errol Spence. Anybody.
Crawford, on the other hand, is no stranger to confidence. After all, he's the one who proved himself in the first fight. For him, the rematch isn't about proving anything to the world. It's about continuing to build his legacy. Known for his composure in the ring and his ability to think several steps ahead of his opponents, Crawford isn't one to let a victory inflate his ego. He's always seeking ways to improve and knows that a second win over Spence would elevate his status to an even higher level, much like Canelo's accomplishments. What's particularly intriguing is how moving up in weight will affect his performance. There's a risk the added weight could slow him down, but given Crawford's meticulous approach to training and his focus on striking the perfect balance between strength and speed, it's hard to imagine him being anything less than fully prepared.
Now, there's a couple of reasons why Terence Crawford is doing this. Terence Crawford wants to go after Canelo or Charlo because in reality, in his mind and in everybody else's mind, except Errol Spence and Errol Spence Jr. fans, he beat Errol Spence more than convincingly, which is there's no need for rematches. There's no need for...
The rematch could also bring an entirely different dynamic to the fight. Crawford's first victory over Spence came as a result of his ability to outbox him, picking him apart with precise shots and controlling the pace. However, with the added bulk Crawford is putting on for a potential fight against Canelo, things could change. Spence, accustomed to fighting at a higher weight, is known for being a more physically imposing fighter at weights like 154 pounds. With added muscle and bulk at junior middleweight, his power could become an even more significant factor in the rematch.
Has he exercised his immediate rematch clause?
I don't know if it's gonna be at 54 or 47, but I'm sure he's probably gonna push the weight up. But there's not gonna be no change in the decision. The performance still is gonna be the same.
For Crawford, adapting his style to a new weight class will be crucial. Known for his fluidity and versatility, these qualities will help him continue to excel even at a heavier weight. However, there's no doubt he'll need to be even sharper and more defensive-minded, especially with Spence looking to use his strength to impose his will. The backdrop of this fight is also shaped by the evolving landscape of the welterweight division. As of 2025, the division is brimming with talent. Yet there's a sense that these two fighters remain at the top, while new contenders are emerging. It's clear that Crawford and Spence are still the names everyone is focused on.
But right now, man, it's like a feeling that's kind of hard to explain. Being back on the U.S. soil and then coming in to some good wins. When I was over there, I got some good wins before I left to go over there. I got the best win, in probably in history. So, feel good, man. So the rematch is gonna happen. Mark my words.
Jaron Boots Ennis, with his raw talent, and Virgil Ortiz Jr., a rising star for years, are both waiting in the wings. However, neither has faced a challenge like Crawford or Spence, and until they do, they'll remain second to the established elite of the division. This is what makes the rematch between Crawford and Spence even more crucial. It's a fight that will decide who truly rules the welterweight and junior middleweight divisions.
Errol Spence the rematch, but at 147. Now, there's a couple of reasons why Terence Crawford is doing this. Terence Crawford,
the broader boxing landscape, is also an important factor to consider. Saudi Arabia's investment in the sport has transformed how and where major fights take place. While boxing has always been financially lucrative, the influx of funds into sport has allowed for events like this to become even bigger spectacles. Whether the rematch takes place in the Middle East or another high-profile location, the support from these new sources of wealth is set to elevate the fight to new heights. This could easily become one of the biggest bouts in recent memory, drawing fans from all over the globe and bringing a level of excitement to boxing that's been lacking for years.
Errol gave him the opportunity when he didn't have to. He sacrificed some things. So, you know, in my opinion, you know, you gotta just do what you gotta do. I think that 54 is 7 pounds north, and it does make it. Errol Spence is an incredible fighter, and to Crawford is to, if that's what Errol wants to do, to fight the rematch.
Everything is pointing toward a massive rematch. Both fighters are highly motivated, confident, and hungry for either redemption or to continue building their legacy. Moving up in weight adds another intriguing layer to an already fascinating story. For Spence, it's an opportunity to leave his loss behind and prove he can still dominate. As for Terence Crawford, he's already accomplished so much in his career, becoming undisputed in 2 separate weight classes, capturing titles across multiple divisions, and maintaining an undefeated record. Yet, as he enters the later stages of his career, the criticism surrounding his resume, particularly from fans and analysts, continues. Crawford has learned to live with it, but now he's decided it's time to carve his own path, regardless of what others think. For the latest boxing news, be sure to subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and leave your thoughts on this match in the comments below.